It is December 10th, and of course, this is the video log that takes 30,000 to a million. Today, I'm going to talk about a very exciting topic, to some, maybe, which is how to get early on an IPO, like the big boys. But first, I'm going to review the account. So, here we go. I'm going into the $138,000 account. It looks like I'm up $2,300 today, but virtually unchanged from last time I made a video. So still sitting about the same level. I'm gonna go through the options real quick and then the equity positions. So I'm gonna go fast. If you wanna pause your video player at any moment to try to review the position, you're welcome to do so. So here is the ticker, the strike price, whether it's a put or a call, expiration date, number of contracts, whether it's a sell or a put. So here they are, the ones that are left. You may notice that that I've gotten rid of the Schlumberger call option, sold it for like $50 for 100% profit, which is like $25. No big money, but it's all good. Hercules Capital almost at 15, so that might trigger soon. Here are the equity positions. Apple had a good nice day. On the right side, you can tell the change of value or liability change, and the for a daily change in the green or red. And then realty income took a little bit of a hit. Russian markets above my strike prices, so if it keeps staying up like that, I'm gonna have to sell it, unfortunately. Energy fuels is already way past my strike price for, let me see real quick. Yeah, it's 306, so it's way past my strike price for the 2.5 contracts, and even a little bit over my strike price for the April contracts, $3 ones. So energy fuels, if it stays at this price, it's going to be a goner. I'm not going to own any uranium pretty soon, except URG maybe, if I decide to keep it. This is URG right here, only $76 up today, of course. But it's a remarkably smaller position. I only have $1,500 of it. 2,400 shares. Only up 13%. Okay, so that's it. And the watch list. Oh yeah, that's right. I have some Fisker. I'm starting to invest in sky-high pre-IPO valuation companies that have possibly no future, but we'll see. And then I'm starting to build my short market positions. This is my watch list over here. As usual, my watch list has a lot more action than my actual account. I wish I actually bought Sting. I did sell a put option against Sting, and I'm trying to get into it, but if I did, it would have been a huge hit because look at this action over the last month or two. Look at this. It went all the way from, $9 to about $12.80, so that's been a big hit. This is the long-term chart. I realized that this is a downward trend and it's likely to continue, but it was good for an intermediate play. All right, this is the account tab. Last thing I want to show you here. You can see that I have now $5,300 of cash that are ready to deploy into some kind of either contracts or maybe some equity. I haven't decided yet. And then this is the account sorted by total return and sorted by equity. My only red in the top 10 is energy transfer, and it's only $242 if you count in the dividends I've collected and the option premium I've collected from it, about even. So no losing positions in the top 10, and really no losing positions almost, period. Counting dividends, Main Street is not losing either. Counting dividends, New York Market Trust is definitely losing because I had to sell some on the way down in March. And then energy transfer, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much no losing positions. We can say that. Okay, that doesn't mean I haven't taken losses, but as of right now, that's what I'm working with. Okay, so now to the exciting stuff, yeah? I was researching, by the way, Main Street Capital to try to make a video on that to explain why I'm holding that position, but that might have to wait. The brief story is that it's basically a bet on medium to small size business in America, and they basically provide the funding for it, and they provide advice and other resources and support. So it's a bet on small business. And as things recover next year, hopefully, then Main Street Capital should be able to resume their, positive earnings territory. Because right now they're losing like 30 million per quarter or something ridiculous like that. But they tend to pay out a lot of dividends, and they are entering more into private lending and things like that. So I just recently got done reading their quarterly report, so I'm kind of updated on what they're doing, and it doesn't look dire. So I think it's Main Street Capital it's pretty safe investment. Okay, moving on to some more exciting stuff, right? So how do you get on the pre-IPO? Or how do you get early on the IPOs before they go public? Because you got to have access. Maybe you have to be an accredited investor. You got to be a venture capitalist of some sort, or belong to some kind of a firm in order to take advantage of these early rounds of financing for these companies that are IPOing now. I mean, recently we had DoorDash IPO, and it was up like, I don't know, some incredible 200% or something silly like that. And then Airbnb, same story, like 100+% up. So it would be helpful, for people like us, the regular folk, to get in on this action before the opening bell when the price is already up hundreds of percent. So the question is, how do we do that? And the method is it's not simple, but it's very easy. Okay, it's very easy to do on paper. It just takes a little bit of digging, but you can do it probably, and if you're savvy, you can do it in 2-3 minutes. Find out exactly what you need to know. Me personally, I'm not that internet savvy, so it takes me a little bit longer to try to research through these documents, things like that. But it's not really, I don't want to scare you with documents. So here's what you do basically. I'll tell you first, and then I'll show you online an example of what you could do. What you want to do is name the company you want to invest in. Okay, so the example I've brought up for you today is Wealthfront or even Robinhood, because Robinhood's going public, right? So, but let's stick with either one of those. Let's go Wealthfront. And you want to try to find out if there are any publicly traded companies that hold stock in Wealthfront. Okay? Hold on, I gotta turn off my heater. It's pretty cold here out in California. And once you find that company, you got to find out how much of Wealthfront they own in order for you to know that if it's worth it. Of course, you want to look at the rest of the company too, but if they have a really big stake in that IPO price, then you're expected to move relative, the price of that holding company is expected to move as much as percentage-wise relative to the IPO. It might even start moving before the IPO comes out, right? Because people like us, well, educated people now, and you and I, we know what to do. So those kinds of companies might actually get a bid before the IPO. And then what you could do is you could buy the rumor, sell the fact, which is you buy the holding company, and then the day before the IPO, you sell out for your profit. So you don't actually take the risk of having a bombed out IPO. IPO, for those of you who don't know, or is an initial public offering, is the process by which a company becomes a public company and can now be traded on the New York Stock Exchange or other auction houses, okay? So let's take a look at some research, right? So here's what it looks like. I go to, you can Google Wealthfront and find out who owns it. You can use a site like Crunchbase, for example. Let's see if you can see this. Maybe you can't. Let me take a look. No. Anyway, you can go to a site like Crunchbase, and then it tells you who the... All right, well, I have to change this, unfortunately. Okay. So what you want to do is go to summary, and then you'll see the number of investors. It says it has 38 investors in this company, right? They made one acquisition so far. It's a private company, and let's click on the number of investors here. So you can see the top, it has a number of lead investors, which is 5. And then you can see some of the ones invested here. You may have to buy the premium service if you want to see all the investors, but you can see the companies that own them. Now, I haven't done the research on which one of these is publicly traded, except one, which is Ribbit Capital. So Ribbit Capital has a subsidiary called Ribbit Leap, as far as I can tell. I might be wrong on this. If you know more detail, you can correct me. And Ribbit Leap is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And in fact, it recently became tradable on the New York Stock Exchange. And so what you would want to do is find out as much as you can about how much of Wealthfront Ribbit owns, and figure out whether or not it's worth the risk for the IPO, pre-IPO action. So that's it, right? So let me show you over here. So we go to Robinhood and we type Ribbit, and Ribbit Leap will come out. All right, and here it is. Let me move this a little bit like this. Okay. Ribbit Leap is not a very liquid company, but it looks like by the chart that it became public, or became tradable around November 6th. And it's already up. It's already up to $13. This might not be a bad investment. So I'm actually looking into buying this because, you know how I mentioned Robinhood earlier? Well, Ribbit Capital actually owns some Robinhood stock as well, which is excellent. And what's funny about that is, how about we go to their website, okay? Ribbit Capital. Our sponsor, there you go. So if you notice over here, these are all the companies that they own, or at least some of the ones that they choose to display. And then so if you buy in Ribbit, then you buy in a little bit of all these companies. I don't know what ratio. However, I do see a couple of names that I like here, namely Robinhood and Wealthfront. They're both partially owned by Ribbit. So to me, now this is starting to look like a really nice bet. So I might actually look into buying this. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how you get in on the IPO before it IPOs. Okay, the poor man's way, the poor person way, because not everybody has a not everyone's an accredited investor. And what is an accredited investor? Basically, it means that you either you have more than $1 million, or you make over like 200 or 250 or something like that, $1,000 per year. And so you're able to, by law, make riskier investments through venture firms and things like that, if you didn't know. Okay, so that's the method. Hopefully, if you want to take part of some of these IPOs, do this research and you're in it. Just remember that none of this is financial advice. Make sure that you do your own research before you do any investment at all. You could lose your entire principal in the markets. It's very risky and very real. And if you're confused or unclear 100% of what's going on, you got to consult a financial advisor before making any investments. All right, so that's the account. That's how you do it. We just ticked midnight. I'm going to end it right here. Probably make another video and log in my progress, or not progress, the opposite of progress, whatever happens this next Monday. All right, that's it. Peace out.